What's up? It's your boy, the Black Andy Cap. We're back. Subscribe to the channel, jump into the comments, and like the video. So, Magic go down 107-111 to the Atlanta Hawks. Tough loss to accept. Magic pretty much dominated this game, had a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter, couldn't hold it together, just simply fell apart. Had some early foul trouble out of Franz, who was the big scorer, but it was more than that. When you watch the game, it just kind of, this is a team who has a new lineup trying to play a new style and didn't seem quite committed to that tonight. When things got tough, they seemed to let go of the style they wanted to play. They weren't pushing. The first half, they were pushing the ball. They were playing with pace. Second half, things slowed down. They couldn't find the offense that they were looking for. Buckets were hard to come by. Didn't particularly love their shot selection. Remember early in the fourth quarter, there was at one point they came down the court and I believe they shot 3 to 4 straight threes. And that's not a bad thing, but that's the old Magic, right? That's how the old Magic played. The new Magic go inside out, find easy buckets. They move without the ball. That disappeared in the second half, and they gave up their 14-point lead. Like I said, foul trouble for Franz slowed things down because he was the guy who was hot, but nobody else seemed to get into that groove, right? The offense never seemed to quite get going. Early on, that was okay because there was just a lot of fouls, and even then, the Magic still found a way to score points, and they were able to build a 14-point lead. Second half, it all fell apart, but what are three things about this loss that were particularly of notice, right? That stood out tonight. And so here we go. Thing number one. And this is the second time this has happened, but got to find a way to get Paolo Banchero more involved in the offense. Even against the Heat in that win, Paolo didn't do much in the first half and part of the third quarter. He got hot late in that game and he helped the Magic win tonight. He never really got going. Paolo only had 7 points into the fourth quarter. They were like 3 or 4 minutes into the fourth quarter. He only had 7 points on the night. This is the guy that carried this team last season, and he's got 7 points going into deep into the fourth quarter. Okay, like 6 minutes left. He only had 7 points. You got to find a better way to get Paolo involved into the offense, playing inside out. He's obviously not completely comfortable because he didn't look that. I talked about this in the last episode of the podcast that in the first half, Paolo started off slow. Same thing happened again tonight. He never seemed to find his rhythm, even late. He only scored, I think, 4 points in that fourth quarter. So 4 to 6 points, was it? Yeah, I think it's only 4 points in that fourth quarter. Needed more than that. Never got really good shots. It just wasn't very. Paolo's just out of sync right now, and it's been that way even in the preseason. Go back. I talked about this in the preseason as well. Paolo doesn't seem to have a role in this offense. They've got to figure out a way. You've got a new offensive coach. Somebody needs to draw something up, but you can't have Paolo out there just as a loose cannon. He just doesn't seem to fit right now. He's an oddball. So Magic got to find a way to get Paolo more touches and more involved in the game so he can establish a rhythm. Otherwise, it's going to be a long season. Thing number 2, another thing I talked about from the preseason that tonight to me was a big issue, and that's the fact that the Magic are soft in the front court. They don't have any really good front court players other than Wendell Carter Jr. Now, this may change when we get back Wagner, right? Mo Wagner comes back, might get a little help. But Taze's not giving you much. He's not bad, but he's not giving you as much as what you saw out of Atlanta's front court. And that was the difference in this game, was the front court, right? The rebounding, the easy bucket, the easy points at the bucket. Things we saw tonight that the Magic could not answer for when things slowed down. It seemed like all the buckets were tough. This looked like the old Magic tonight. Straight up, it looked like the old Magic. Like I said, there was one point in the game when they shot, I think, 3 or 4 straight threes that weren't necessarily great shots. So the Magic the front court is definitely an issue. Mo Wagner, the sooner Mo Wagner gets back, the better. We had Jonathan Isaac up front, played limited minutes. He didn't give you much. Right outside of that, who's playing front court? Right, nobody's really giving you much work up front, and that's where you can get some of those easy buckets. That's where you get your in the paint buckets, right? The Magic struggled tonight in the paint. That's the new style, is to play inside out. Didn't get much of that inside out style when the second half came up, and so it was just a tough go tonight. So Magic's offense has to find a better way to get things done. Third thing, gotta make free throws, right? The Magic didn't shoot free throws particularly well tonight. Actually shot them horribly in the first half, shot much better in the second half, but the damage was done, right? So I think they missed 10 free throws in the first half. You make 10 free throws and you make half of those free throws, you're in good shape right now, right? You win the game by 1. You can talk about, well, what happened, this, that, but those are free points. That's why they're called free throws. Left too many free points on the line, kept Atlanta in the game. And so, it's those little things that you got to do. You got to make free throws. That's a part of the game, and it just has to be done. So there are a lot of things you didn't like about this game tonight, right? There's just statistically, outside of the 3 things, a couple more things, right? Jalen Suggs was the only starter in plus territory on the plus-minus stat, +4. He was the only one that was plus. He was +4, and that's how the starters, right? The starters were deep negative tonight, whereas Atlanta's starters, I think, were plus. I forgot what they were, +8, +10, something like that. But it was the bench. The bench was tough, right? The Magic's bench was like +2, whereas the Atlanta Hawks bench was like a +20 something, right? You got to get more. The defense didn't look this is the second time the defense hasn't looked very good for the Magic. Their offensive focus has them, I think, maybe letting down on the defensive end a little bit. That and the fact that Jalen Suggs is playing such limited minutes, and we know that he's the heart and soul of the defense. But the Magic have to get back to being better on defense. The first half, they just simply, they weren't getting back on the break and gave up some easy buckets to Atlanta. But lots to see in this game, lots to improve upon. So Magic have a quick turnaround to get back on it again tomorrow night, I believe. So Magic got to do better, right? Got to do better. Some things to worry about and think about, but we'll see what happens. So, hey, remember, subscribe to the channel, jump in the comments, tell me what you think. This is your boy Black Andy Cap. Remember, I'm going to be with you all season with the Orlando Magic. Peace.